Hello, my name is Vincenza Carrieri Russo, and welcome to DETV, a new show started for women by women. I'm very excited to have the co-founder of Made Herself a Boss, Brittany Onley. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited you're here, especially since we are having a conversation for women by women. So let's dive right into what is your organization and tell us its mission.
Absolutely. So Made Herself a Boss, again, co-founded by myself and my business partner who isn't here, unfortunately, Shanika Crawley. We like to call ourselves a transformation company. We give business startup and business training to women who want to not only start but scale their businesses. So some of them just decided yesterday that they wanted to start a business. Right. Others have been doing it for a while and just want to grow. So we service all of those women. And our mission is just to allow them to become the bosses that they're meant to be.
Right, right. And we were talking about this before, and I love that you mentioned that it could be for any age. Yes. You said it earlier. We think, we have to get married, we have to have children, and then that's it. But then there are, women that, okay, I want to get back into my career. Right. We talked about that you have resources and information that whether the woman is in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and up, that they can find out information about starting their own business and doing it the right way.
Absolutely. So here's the thing, like you just said, you could be, in high school even, but you can be in college, you could be someone who, did get married and now you just want to have something for yourself. No matter what age or really what position you're in, the core things are still the same as to starting your business entity, learning who your audience is, learning your messaging, learning how to properly organize your business, because that's always going to be important. I mean, those things are just needed by everyone. There's not an age on that. I mean, you just have to do it.
And I love that you mentioned that. There's not an age limit, right? There's no expiration. There's no, you're 50, sorry, you can't start your own business. And I love that you mentioned that, because there are many women out there that maybe they couldn't start their own business at this point in their life. But maybe life, later on in life, they said, okay, now I'm ready. But they need the resources, they need the support, and you offer that.
Exactly. The thing is, life happens. You have kids, you have a husband. Fact is, you may have other responsibilities to take care of outside of yourself. And then when you decide, you know what, I want to make my own money, I want to put my finances in a better position for myself, or just gain my own finances. I mean, depending on where you're coming from with it, right? And so a lot of women, they go to become a one-woman band, and that could be overwhelming.
It is.
On top of all those other things. So where we come in, we kind of give you a virtual hug as soon as you meet Shy and I. We tell you that it's going to be okay. And we're like, okay, here's some actual tangible steps to take so that you're not going to drive yourself crazy, so that everything makes sense. And within a couple weeks to months, depending on how ready you are to jump into everything, we can get you on your feet, and we can get you established, and we can get you on the road to having a great service or product-based business.
So let's talk about the website.
Okay.
I know that you put your whole heart into the website. I know that you mentioned it to me, but so let's paint the picture for our viewers and our listeners tuning in. Tell us about the website and the resources it offers.
So the website, Made Herself a Boss, I did make it myself. We were talking earlier about the difference between your hobbies and then your actual business.
Yes.
So my hobby is making websites nice and pretty, but I did design it so that women can go there, learn more about Made Herself a Boss, and actually kind of find out what kind of boss that you are. So there's a Stephanie, and then there's a Michaela. There's Startup Stephanie. She's that person. She just decided yesterday, I think I want to start a business, and probably just made an Instagram and a PayPal account and think that that's the end all be all. And it's not. And we don't want Stephanie to find out the hard way.
Startup Stephanie.
Yes, Startup Stephanie, that is not everything that you need to do, especially for longevity, and we don't want you to get in trouble.
Right.
And then there's Money Making Michaela. Now, she has already been established for a while, but she may be stagnant. things are just standing still. She's not making enough to not just pay the bills or break even, but maybe she wants to elevate her life. So we service both of those women, really no matter what stage you are in your business. Again, letting you know you don't have to be the one woman band. There's support out there. There's resources, or even if you have to be, it does not have to be such an overwhelming experience.
So Startup Stephanie and Money Making Michaela. I like Michaela. but you're right. You're offering to both, both phases in the business, whether you're starting up your business and you need a little bit of support, well, a lot of support, and then Money Making Michaela. I love that. I love the examples that you're using. But I think that, women that are in business have established themselves, but haven't evolved with the times.
Exactly.
The last few years, business has changed and shifted tremendously. And if you have not evolved, and as we say, pivot, you're way behind. And it's not just going on social media and posting, it's more than that. So the fact that you are offering this information to established business owners or someone starting up, it's very, very helpful and informative. I wish I had more of these resources when I first started my own business. I was very fortunate. I had my sister beside me, so we started it together. So I had that support system as well as my family. But not everybody has that.
Right.
And to offer that to so many women, we need that. It's necessary. And I'm a firm believer in female empowerment and following your dreams and whatnot. So let's talk about the events and workshops that you hold throughout the year. So let's talk about that some more.
Absolutely. So when you go to the site, you can register for, I believe, the trainings that we have on there right now. Firstly, talking about your mindset. You have to start there no matter what your goal is. If you don't think that you can get to a goal, heck, if you don't even really know what you want, how are you supposed to reach it? How are you supposed to get over the hill? How are you supposed to really do anything but just sit where you are and end up in the same spot where you're sitting next year? Right. So we talk a lot about mindset of money making. We talk about your relationship with money. We talk about your expectations for yourself, and we talk about showing up for yourself first and foremost. It sounds cliche, it sounds like whatever, but no, it's actually something that holds people back in real life. So we do talk about that. And then we have trainings about the actual structure. Like, okay, here's your how to find out who your client is, how to position yourself where they are, how to speak to them, how to just get their attention, how to hit their pain points so that they even want to buy from you, how to show up as an individual in front of your audience so that, I think I want to go over to this person versus this person because I actually like who she is. Like all of that is important too when it comes to your marketing. Things are saturated, unfortunately, especially with social media, and more businesses, especially since the pandemic, have gone that route to market. That's where everyone is. When I leave here, I'm probably going to scroll on Instagram myself, and be marketed to. So we really dig deep into how to find your audience, hit their pain points, get their attention, and eventually lead to the sale, whether you're product-based or service-based. So those are just two examples of probably where you would want to start once you get to our website.
That's so helpful, and I'm so happy that you're offering so much information, all different angles. The first thing I thought about when I started my business, I should know my audience. It's very, very important. Understand your audience, know your audience. Location is key. Yes. Especially if you have a brick and mortar, location is key. Yes. But if you started small, even if it's, a website, social media, but making it legitimate. And we talked about this. So let's touch on this, which is super important.
Okay. I'll just throw a few things out there because I'm not a financial strategist, so to speak. I'm just going to tell you, Instagram and PayPal is not going to cut it. You want to actually become an entity. You want to, register with your state, register with everything. Having a business bank account, so that way you can build business credit. You want to make sure that when someone Googles your name, you are a legitimate business and not just, you know, a Joe Schmo who's, because you have to be trusted.
Yes.
Especially if you're asking for people's money, the least that you can do is build that trust by being legitimate yourself. And we're not even going to talk about taxes that are going to catch up to you.
Right, right.
Insurance, everything. I mean, you have to meet certain regulations depending on what you do in order to be able to provide that service to both protect yourself and to protect your customers. So there's a lot in it, you know, and the money you have to spend, the time you have to spend, the effort and everything. We just help you to better prepare for that commitment, for that investment in yourself, because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yes.
And so we do make sure to hit on those key points so that a woman who joins on to that particular training at least knows what is entailed with that.
And you're providing that education, which I think is key. Education is key if you want to progress in life, no matter what your goals are.
Yes.
And I'm a firm believer in that. If you don't understand something, educate yourself about it. We're not all perfect, we don't know it all, but the best thing you could do is educate yourself, and you're providing an incredible educational resource. What you and your co-founder are doing, I think it's helpful to anyone that wants to start a business and do it the correct way and the legal way.
Yes.
Which is very, very important. We were just touching on before that in the restaurant industry that, you know, you have to have a business license, but you also have to have insurance. And we sell alcohol. We have to have a liquor license to do it legally. We have to have a business license that's under the food and beverage. And then we have to make sure that everything is being monitored and regulated to stay up to date with all of the policies and the regulations that are enforced and implemented every single year. So we're always having inspections done to make sure that we follow through with all of that. And that's all costly.
It is
But it
costly.
makes us a legitimate business. So it is an investment, like you said earlier, it's an investment, but it's an investment for our future. And I think that's what's important.
That's what's most important. And so do your research. Again, the legal stuff, we can't say that enough. The legal stuff, just make sure that you are covering all of your bases, because the worst thing that could happen is for you to actually have a thriving business, but it gets taken away from you.
And it can be taken away. It really can be. I've heard many scenarios where someone started their business on social media and just stayed there, and they were running their business out of their home, which you really can't do. You have to, especially if you're selling food, you have to be in a commercial kitchen, and it's more sanitary. I mentioned this earlier that, you know, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's and make sure that everything is right where it needs to be and you're following policy. But you have to make sure that you're doing it correctly, because it only takes one mistake that they will freeze your account, take everything away, audit you, whatever it may be, and that could ruin your credit, that could ruin your history, and also your reputation.
Right.
You have to protect your reputation in business. You have to protect it. You have to be mindful, because you want, like we said, your customers to trust you.
Yes, that's the most important thing. How else are they going to come back and continue to spend money? We had a very interesting conversation about the pandemic. So it affected all of us differently, but I'm sure just as impactful, right? We just knew people were not coming outside. People weren't trusting things because of germs. And because it just created a chain effect of things just not happening. And so as business owners, we were struggling. Like my daytime job is as a photographer. So if you're not outside and you're not doing this, who am I taking pictures of? And then how am I paying my bills?
Right. But it seems like you were pivoting still. That you made sure that, okay, if I can't do this, let me try this. But that's smart. You were evolving and adapting. And take the pandemic out of the equation, you should always be evolving and adapting in your business, because you want to stay, well, first off, keep your customers engaged and keep them interested. And we all know everybody loves new, right? Everybody loves new. So we have to keep them engaged. So adapting and evolving in time as your business grows and thrives is so important.
It has to be. Actually, pivot is one of our favorite words to use. In our trainings, we believe that your head should always be on swivel.
I like that.
Yep. So, you know, even with the trends of things that are going on, like actually pay attention to what's going on around you, what's popular, or, you know, what good or bad is happening around you, because it could affect your business. It could be something that you could use to your advantage as far as marketing. You know, things just change so rapidly. So you have to pay attention. You have to stay on pivot. And that's really how you keep your head above the water. Just eyes open, pay attention to what's going on.
I just thought of this. What piece of advice would you give a new female entrepreneur that wants to start up? What piece of advice would you give her?
I'll give her a few pieces of advice. I was first of all tell her to go to madeherselfaboss.com.
Okay.
I would tell her to, well, with our help, we would definitely help her to do her research with everything that's needed for her industry. Yeah, do your research, find out who your audience is, find out what the pain point of your ideal customer is so that you can meet that need. What else would I tell her to do? Make sure that you get legal. That should have been number one on the list.
Number one.
Make sure that you get legal, not just Instagram. And seek out a community, because I don't care what anyone says, you can have all this information in front of you, but you just implement it in a different way, it becomes more of a priority. There's even a healthy sense of sisterhood there when you surround yourself with other like-minded individuals. I mean, people in multi-million-dollar corporations do it all the time, so why would you not start at the beginning? Right. So that you can get there.
I love that. I love that. And it's important for our listeners to hear that and dream big. I think it's important to dream big. I'm a big dreamer. You know me, I love setting goals, whether they're long-term goals or short-term goals. And I feel it's important to write them down. Write it down, put it on a Post-it note, stick it up somewhere where you travel every single day, whether it's in your bathroom when you're brushing your teeth, and just to remind yourself of these goals so you can take the next step toward achieving them.
Yes.
And you provide an incredible resource for all the women and future female entrepreneurs out there. So Brittany, thank you so much for having this conversation. And I appreciate everything that you're doing for female entrepreneurs, and I wish you so much luck.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Again, thank you so much for having myself and Shinika. And we just look forward to see what's to come. We believe in all the women who come to us, those who doubt themselves. We believe in you. We're willing to help you.
Excellent. All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Vincenza Carrieri Russo. I'm here with Brittany Onley from Made Herself a Boss. See you soon.